Hi guys and welcome to my reaction video where I will be commenting, scoring, judging the dances and, and the performances of the first week of Strictly Come Dancing 2019. So let's begin without further ado with the first couple, Alex and Neil, that performed the quick step. So for me it was very intricate choreography, very classy and stylish routine. They both look amazingly well together. She knows how to perform, she knows how to act, her musicality was excellent, but she needs to work on her frame, on her top time, on her curve. Unfortunately, she had several errors regarding her footwork. She needs to remember to drive her feet, through the floor. She does need to remember about stepping from the heel when moving forward. They broke hold during the dance for too long, which is illegal. There was gapping sometimes, which is also an error. But in terms of artistry and choreography, it was great. As I said, in terms of technique, it was weak, unfortunately. So I will give it only a 5. Let's move on to the second couple, Chris and Karen, that performed the cha-cha-cha. They danced the cha-cha-cha to choose, but in my opinion he does not need any juice, but a potion that gives him the ability to master the technique of the dance, because unfortunately in this dance the technique was non-existent. There was no hip action at all. He didn't straight the legs. There were even several heel leads, which is totally no in his dance. He didn't show the rhythm of the dance through his body. There was no mechanics of the dance. They were missing. By mechanics I mean placement of the feet, correct placement, hip action, correct use of the legs. It was all non-existent, unfortunately. And the only good thing that I can say about his routine was his determination and the amount of actual cha-cha content that was there. It was a really great amount of content, but unfortunately the technique, the actual cha-cha technique was really non-existent. So sadly I will give this dance only a 2. Let's move on to the third couple, Catherine and Johannes, that performed the Venus Waltz. I love Freddie, but the other things were not that great. She didn't hide her nerves, sadly, and she didn't portray the character of the dance because of that. Her footwork was poor. She didn't drive her from her heel. It was all toes, no heels, which is totally wrong. There was no sway, which is very important in all the ballroom dances except from the tango. They broke hold during the dance, which is illegal. So to sum up, she has a potential, but it wasn't a good dance. Technically it was weak. Artistically it wasn't strong also, as I said, because she didn't hide her nerves and she didn't perform. She wasn't that elegant lady that we want to see in this dance. So unfortunately I will score it, sadly, only a 5. Let's move on to Saffron and AJ and the tango. Very interesting and beautiful choreography, great musicality, lovely frame posture. Really, I was overwhelmed. Unfortunately, in places there was gapping, and in my opinion, my biggest concern, yes, there was gapping, it was shaky and steady in places, but my biggest concern was the lack of character. and connection between the two of them. She really needs to work on her artistry, on her performance values, because sadly it spoiled the routine, because the actual routine technically was very strong. I was wowed by the technicality of this routine, but the performance was underwhelming. So I will give it a 6. And next up is Mike Gotcha and their jive. For me it was very entertaining, decent jive content, nice mix of comedy and pure jive steps. Yes, there were pure jive steps. I love his musicality, I loved his commitment, his acting ability was great. On the negative side, his jive was stomping places. He needed to be much sharper. It wasn't compact enough. Jive should be very compact dance. It was lacking hip action during the jive chases. His kicks should have been much sharper. But again, overall, he did a good job. It was very entertaining, and there was good amount of content there, and he showed some decent technique. So I give him 6. Let's move on to MNAJ to MN Aliash and their cha-cha-cha. Great personality, excellent physicality, she knows how to perform, but her technique sadly was poor. Cha-cha-cha requires a very specific hip action of portraying the figure 8, painting the figure 8 with the hips. It requires cha-cha-cha also requires training of the legs, and sadly she didn't have that. I think that she probably was too heavy on herself, because it looks like she does not believe in herself that much. She should dare more. She should resonate more confidence. It will improve her technique. She has a big potential. Her musicality was great, but sadly her technique was non-existent. She didn't really show her technique, it was poor, there were many errors, and so sadly I will score it only a 4. Let's move on to James and Luba and their tango. Unfortunately, I have to say that it was one of the worst dances I have ever seen. No posture, no technique, no emotion, no tango for me. It was such a lovely song, such a dynamic and mysterious mood, but the dance itself was a nightmare. I want James to focus first of all on the character of the dance and letting his nerves go, and he must get rid of the fear of performing live, because this is the key in order for him to continue on in this competition. He has the ability to dance well if he works even harder, and primarily on his artistic side. The ability to portray a character. For me, that is what he needs to work on in the weeks to come. Unfortunately, there was no tango for me, there was no dance for me, and I give him just a 2. So let's continue with Kelvin and Otti and their samba. What a wonderful dance, what a surprise. His natural rhythm is to die for. His ability to move with style and grace on the dance floor is magnificent. His sporty chakra was fabulous. I love his hands as well. There were several foot errors because in samba one leg should be always straight with the hip up, and one leg should be always bent. and he didn't straight his legs during the waltzers, during the crusader walks, during the promenade runs as well. So in different occasions, different steps, he didn't straight his legs as he should have been, as he should have done. But overall, it was a big surprise because he had such a natural rhythm and great hip action, and it was such a good routine, but with some different steps, and I think it was a wonderful routine and one of the best routines tonight, and I will give him a 7. Let's move on to Nadia and David Nadia and the Foxtrot. Sadly, he was very stiff. He wasn't engaged with the dance. He could not really hide his nerves, probably because he didn't portray the character of the Foxtrot. His footwork was good, but his steps were too little. He wasn't gliding across the dance floor. His frame wasn't good at all. It was very loose. There was no sway. In addition, they broke body contact during the dance, which is illegal. So sadly, his technique was poor. The dance itself was poor. Even though he managed to do well some basic foxtrot footwork, but overall it was really poor and wooden. So sadly, I give him only a 3. Next up is Michelle Giovanni and their Cha-Cha-Cha. Wow, it was a great dance, fabulous leg action most of the time. Cha-Cha-Cha is all about straightening and bending the legs, depending on the part of the dance. And it's also about creating a very specific hip action. And for me, she did great regarding her footwork. She had several mistakes in her cha-cha-cha chasse, and maybe she had several tiny mistakes, but overall her musicality was fantastic. Her personality was great. Her leg action and her hip action was very strong. It was very crispy, precise, and a joy to behold. So I would give her an 8. Let's move on to Deb and Diane and their Foxtrot. I think that their routine was fantastic. Such a superb choreography from Diane, and what a delivery from Deb. Foxtrot is such a hard dance, but his entire footwork was spot on. Lovely heel leads when moving forward, lovely usage of the legs, of the toes when moving backwards. It was really superb. Lovely frame and posture, amazing musicality and portrayal of the character of the dance. I must take a point off because they broke hold during the dance, which is illegal, and also because there was no sway, which is also important. But other than that, it was almost sublime. It was astonishing. So I will give this dance an 8. Let's move on to Kevin and Annika and their jive. Annika and Kevin, their cha-cha-cha, sorry. Annika and Kevin and their cha-cha-cha. For me, sadly, this dance had plenty of mistakes. It wasn't a complete disaster because she did straighten her legs here and there, but overall it was just a complete blunder, a series of mistakes. A lot of errors. She didn't show any hip action, she didn't show really footwork. Almost all her footwork was incorrect. Her arms were bizarre, just fluffing around, and it was totally lacking sharpness. I hope she does better next week, because this dance was really bad, and sadly I will score it just a 2. Let's move on to Karim and Amy and their cha-cha. What an incredible dance! Wow! He's such a talented young man. His musicality was flawless. The incorporation of future cha-cha and hip-hop was great. His hands were fantastic. His footwork and his hip action was superb. His cha-cha shasa was incorrect and he lost balance here and there a little bit, but other than that, it was such a strong, such a clever, such a clean, such a cool, such an exciting routine. I was amazed. Such a strong routine technically, and his performance was superb. I will give it, without any doubt, I will give it an 8. So 2 more dances to go. Let's move on to Will and Jeanette and their quickstep. His bubbly personality and bubbly happy personality really came through this dance. Unfortunately, there were a lot of mistakes. There was not enough quickstep content for me. His face wasn't good because his left arm should be 45 degrees to the floor and not 0 degrees to the floor. He was very flat-footed. He didn't use the toes of the legs, which is very important. He didn't glide across the floor as we expect in a ballroom dance. There were no heel leads. In my opinion, to be honest, the choreography pretty boring and repetitive. If I compare this dance to a pencil, because he danced to a pencil full of lead, so if I compare this dance to a pencil, it was definitely a very bright one, maybe a yellow pencil or an orange pencil, but not sharp at all. I mean that technically it was very weak, and I hope he concentrates on his technique for his next dance next week. But for now, I will give it just a 5, sadly. And last dance of week 1, Emma and Anton, the Beck legends, performed the jive. For me, on one hand, it was very clean, precise, lovely musicality and lovely personality. On the other hand, it was lacking sharpness, much more sharpness, much more attack. It was lacking the slipping of the standing foot during the kicks, and it was lacking the rotation of the hips during the jive shotses. It was pretty rhythmical, it was well placed, she controlled her long limbs, which is not a simple thing to do. She acted the dance very well. It was a pretty decent routine, but technically it wasn't strong enough. So I have to agree with Shirley Ballas, and I sadly give her just a 5 for her first jive. For her first dance, for that jive. So that was all the couples. I think the first week was fantastic, full of surprises, full of exciting routines. I can no longer wait for the second week and who will get eliminated and who will dance even better than he did tonight, who will improve, who will sadly not improve. It will be very interesting to follow this bunch of young talented people of Strictly Come Dancing class of 2019. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I will be back next week commenting, scoring, reacting, giving my opinion on week 2. And I hope you will all subscribe to my channel. And thank you and goodbye, and have a great week.